So hello guys, welcome back to FPL Mike, and today I'm bringing you guys a brand new video, and it is about the best 6.5 million midfielders in this game. And don't forget to subscribe and click the bell icon. This is a channel where we talk about all things FPL, and let's get straight into it. So a few of the first names comes up to the list. I'm gonna ignore them because as we all know, centre defensive midfielder don't score much point in this game. So Declan Rice and Rodri is an avoid for me. Although they do got fantastic stats from last season, which is ridiculous. 7 goal, 9 assists for Declan Rice, but on 8.62 XGI, which shows he's absolutely overperforming. And Rodri as well. 8 goal, 10 assists, but on only 10.14 XGI. That shows that both of them are overperforming last season. So I'm not going to go for them because centre defensive midfielder don't gives you loads of attacking returns in my opinion. But they do have the potential to play the number 8 role in some game, especially Declan Rice. Declan Rice could definitely play the number 8 role if Thomas Partey is back and fit. But I don't think Rodri is going to play the number 8 role at all. I don't even think Declan Rice would play that much of number 8. So that's why I would avoid both of them, because as a number 6, you won't get much attacking returns. So those two are an avoid for me at 6.5 million. You can get much better. You can get much better players from that. And then the third one is Pascal Gross. He's a very, very good player. He's a very, very good player in Brighton. 4 goal, 11 assists last season. 15.29 XGI, which match what he's got. I think he's on no, he's not on. João Pedro's on penalty. Sorry. Pascal Gross overall is a very solid player at 6.5 million, but I'm not sure about the consistency though, and I'm not sure under the new coach whether Pascal Gross will still get that many will still perform as well as the last 2 seasons. I think he's a really, really good player, but I think there's better option at 6.5 million than Pascal Gross. So you can definitely look out for him if you want to put him in. But first few fixtures aren't particularly good. So Everton, Man United at home, Arsenal away, and Chelsea away, Spurs away, Newcastle away. So I'd probably just avoid any Brighton Pascal Gross before game week 8. Oh no, sorry, before game week 11, because they got Liverpool and Man City in 10 and 11. So it's definitely not a good idea to pick him because you won't get much attacking return from the Brighton players in those games. So Pascal Gross is arguable. It's a lookout for, but I don't think he's the one that's gonna come up in today's recommendation. Bruno Guimaraes, no attacking, barely any attacking threat, and potential leaving Newcastle. So avoid for me, straight up, very simple reasons. So yeah, and the first player I'm going to recommend to you guys is Leon Bailey. He got 10 goals, 11 assists in 22 starts last season. That is ridiculous. 4.2 points per match, 13.49 expected goal involvement. Although a bit overperforming, but with Musa Diaby moving to Al Ittihad, he'll be the start right winger for Aston Villa. So I think Leon Bailey, if you're looking for a cheap option, he's definitely the one to go for. He's such a bargain at this price for me. Definite starting right winger. Absolutely phenomenal attacking threat. Could provide you loads of returns in that Aston Villa team. And he's not 2.5 million cheaper than Ollie Watkins. So Leon Bailey is definitely a go for me if you want to put in a cheap midfielder in your team. And he's the one to go for. I think he should be the number 1 option in the 6.5 million price tag. So Leon Bailey is very, very good. The second player I'm going to recommend is Morgan Gibbs-White. He's got 5 goals and 12 assists in the last 2 seasons. He's the main man in that Nottingham Forest team, and he's on penalties, I believe, and he's on free kicks, and he's on corners. So set pieces will provide you pretty good attacking returns when you've got all of the set pieces. And Morgan Gibbs-White is just the core of that Nottingham Forest team. And at 6.5 million, I think he could be a very, very good price and a very, very good player at that price. And Nottingham Forest got very, very good opening fixtures. Bournemouth at home, Southampton away, Wolves at home, despite Liverpool, and you got Brighton away and Fulham at home. The first 6 fixtures are pretty, pretty good for Nottingham Forest. So there is no reason to not go for Morgan Gibbs White if you want to go for a cheap midfielder. So Morgan Gibbs White is a go for me as well. So Forest as far as attacking system suits Morgan Gibbs White very well and allows him to get the best efficiency out of him. And he's a regular starter, 35 and 36 games started for the last 2 seasons. No minute risk on all set pieces and on penalties. I think Morgan Gibbs White at 6.5 million is a very, very good value player. So check that out. He could be a bargain as well. And the third player I'm actually going for is Alejandro Garnacho. We see how amazing he is last season at 5 million. At 6.5 million, he could be a little bit overpriced because you don't know about Man United transfer yet. But looks like he's going to start for Man United this season. It's most likely to be Rashford and Garnacho on the 2 wing and Højlund or Xerxes up front. But the thing that worries me about Garnacho is his minutes is probably at risk because you got Jadon Sancho back. And I mean, even got Anthony. You're probably bringing another front court player. Bruno could play on the wing. So I think Garnacho might be a little bit of a minute risk. But his performance is just absolutely phenomenal. And at 6.5 million is an absolute deserves to go from me. Deserves to go from me. So I think his priority is not as high as Leon Bailey or Morgan Gibbs White, but I think he could definitely worth a try. See, we got 12 people selected. 12% of the players selected him. That shows people quite love him. But overall, I will put a question mark on his minutes played. But overall, I think he deserves a try if you want to go for a little bit different than everybody else. So Garnacho is another 6.5 million midfielder to look out for. And then the fourth one is very interesting, which is Brennan Johnson. He's got 5 goals, 12 assists last season, but the XG is 10.36, which shows he need to get his finish up for me. Assist is massively overperforming, triple the expected assist. But it shows that he's got the ability to perform and provide you loads of attacking returns. And I think in that Spurs front court, he's the second most attacking threat beside after Heung-min Son. So I think Brennan Johnson is a little bit of underlooked. He could be an underdog this season. Only 2% of people chose him, which shows a potential bargain, a potential different player for a lot of people. So he's got Leicester at home, away, Everton at home, Newcastle away, Arsenal at home, Brentford at home, and United away. First 2 fixtures are good. Follow up is not that ideal, but Spurs attack are always pretty solid, and he could get you returned in those games. And even in the first season of Forest, he performs pretty well. He's got loads of goal threat as well as attacking threat. I think in the Spurs team, his goal won't be as much as in Forest because Heung-min Son is going to be the first option. But overall, I think his attacking threat and returns and the potential returns that give you a 6.5 million is a bargain, and it's very deservedly to give a try for, in my opinion. And then the fifth player, I'm gonna go for Dominik Szoboszlai. I've talked about him in a few previous video. I think he's just so good. He's got the only goal for Liverpool in the first preseason game against Real Betis. He plays more advanced in that number 10 role. And I still like to use a good number 10s. And from the quote after the game, we saw that he might switch up position with Harvey Elliott, and he is going to take more attacking responsibility in that Liverpool team. So I think his number could go really high up this season. I think he's gonna have more attacking responsibility on his shoulder. Uh, I think his goals and assists will go up to the next levels, and he's gonna start most of the games. 25 star last season, first season comes with Liverpool is understandable, and we saw what he can do in RB Leipzig and in Bundesliga. So I think Dominic Soboslai at 6.5 million is a pretty good bargain player and is a go for me. If you want to try it, and especially if you're a Liverpool fan, go try him. I'll probably put him in my team. Um, oh yeah, I've updated my team recently. So in the next video, I'll show you what's the updated team looks like. So don't forget to click the subscribe button and waiting for the new content. It's coming up in the next few days. So overall, Dominic Soboslai is very high on the list for me at 6.5 million. So if you want to try it, go for a try, go for him. There's absolutely no doubt that he will perform much better than last season under the Arne Slot system. Uh, and that brings to our last 6.5 million player, and I believe loads of people knows who I'm talking to. Yeah, it is Christopher Nkunku. Again, for the exact same reasons. He scored 2 times in the 2 games he played for Chelsea in the preseason. He's sharp, looks like he's 100% back from the injury, and he's ready to go. And in that team, he even took a penalty for Chelsea last game with a loss to Celtics, I believe. Although is Cole Palmer not back yet, but it shows that he's very high on that penalty kicker list. So there's no doubt that he could take few penalties this season. And with what he's done in the Bundesliga for Leipzig, 100 plus goals and assists in the games he played for Leipzig in the 3 or 4 years. If he can bring that to the Premier League at 6.5 million, he will be an absolutely bargain for me. And we can see 15% people chose him. I think the only problem with Nkunku is injury risk. Opening fixtures are fantastic. Despite Man City at home, I think that could be a loads of goals game. It could be a 4-4 again. So there's no reason he's not going to score in that game. So, and coming up, you got Wolves, Palace, Bournemouth, West Ham, and Brighton, and Nottingham Forest. So there's no reason to not go for Christopher Nkunku, and he's such a good player. So at 6.5 million, he's probably one of the best to go for. So if I'm making a list, right, the best 6.5 million midfielders to go for, number 1 will be Leon Bailey, because Moza Diaby leaving, and he's gonna be so attacking. And comes up very close, it's gonna be Christopher Nkunku at number 2, or even could be at number 1. I think Leon Bailey and Nkunku are the 2 of the best bargain 6.5 million midfielders to go for. And then the third one will be Dominic Soboslai. I think in that Liverpool team on the new Arne Slot system, Soboslai is going to be very, very good. And the fourth one is Morgan Gibbs-White for the same reason, the absolute core in that Forest team. Consistent for performing, deserves a try. And the fifth one is Brennan Johnson. As such a low selector rate, I think he absolutely deserves to go for a 6.5 million, especially if you don't want to go for other players I've just talked about, like those 4 up front. And the last one will be Garnacho because of his potential minute risk. So yeah, overall, that's what today's video is going to look like. That's what the best 6.5 mil midfielders, in my opinion. So don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and the team reveal, new updated team reveal, coming up tomorrow or the day after. So don't forget to check that out as well. Click the subscribe button. We've got loads more content coming through, and see you guys later. Peace.